cake, what you've been waiting for. The cake.
Gwen and I conferred, and we figured probably the safest thing for us to do was to make the icing first. What do I call it? The icing?
The icing.
The icing.
Yeah. He made up a new word today, and it's like, that's not really a word, right?
I said, yes, it is.
It is now. If you say it with enough authority, it becomes a word, yeah.
I did my icing. Got my icing done. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So anyway, this is an interesting frosting.
A lot of debate about the frosting.
It's a lot of debate about the frosting. Some people, we were worried a little bit about Mrs. Tawes' recipe for it because it didn't look like it was going to work so well, or it was a little problematic, didn't we think? Yeah, so we're gonna do the icing first. That way it'll cool a little bit so that when we do our final
ta-da, reveal. And you see we have them in various stages here because
we have
this is not a cake that we could make right now and have ready for 22 of you.
Night, trust me. Good. Well, we can stretch this out, can't we? It's almost New Year's. And the ball is dropping. Okay, so again, another interesting aspect of this is a lot of icing or frostings are whipped. It's kind of a whipped thing, either with butter or Crisco or something, and chocolate. Flop. No, this actually is a boiled icing, which is quite interesting. So the things we have in here right now are sugar and evaporated milk. Okay, you're going to find almost all the recipes, and Kara can attest to this, that you're going to find from Smith Island or Tangier Island all call for evaporated milk always, or tinned milk, canned milk, because they didn't have access to it.
Sure.
So that was always brought over by boat, and that's what they use for most of their cooking. So, trying to keep in the tradition.
That's what we're doing here.
We're actually using that. Oh, we just got to get it warm. We don't have to have it boiling.
Oh, okay.
Okay, turn it
warm.
down. Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Okay, so now we have a nice hot. And now I'm going to put some chocolate in. It's unsweetened chocolate, okay? You don't want to put this, pardon me? Yeah, just cut up a little bit. And just stir them in a little bit at a time. And as it melts, then you can add a little bit more. Let me turn it down a little more. We don't want to cook the chocolate too much.
Right? Seize up on you.
Yeah, chocolate's funny. You got to be careful with it.
It's like eggs. It knows when you're scared.
It does.
And it really misbehaves if it thinks you're scared.
And then, once you get all the chocolate melted and sort of incorporated in it, then we're going to take butter and do the same thing. Put a little bit in, a little bit in.
How much was that, half a pound of butter?
It looked nothing like
this looks great, honestly.
So as soon as it melts, I would take it off.
Take it off that heat.
Yeah.
Yep, let's do it.
When we're in the creaming stage, could you explain the creaming stage?
Yeah, so what you're doing in this situation is you are combining sugar and butter. And you're just letting the mixer go. If you don't have a standing mixer, use a hand mixer, or if you're really going to go old school, just whisk it, whip. You're trying to create air and lightness, and you want to keep doing it until it's sort of a light, creamy color.
Creamy, yeah. You want to get it like a little bit creamy.
Because this is this many layers, this much icing, it can be a bit dense. So you want to create air. All right, perfectly creamed now.
Totally creamed, like you can't believe. Next, we will take 2 farm fresh eggs from around the corner. Next exciting part is the cake flour. Could you hold up the Swan's cake flour. All right, so what I'm doing now, and this is an important part, so remember this. As you're adding the flour in here to your creamed mixture, you want to alternately add the milk. All right, so we have just about everything else in here except just a dash of almond extract. So the oven's preheated to 350 degrees, and when you put just a little bit in, since we're trying to go like about that much batter in the bottom, it only takes about 10 minutes to cook. Yeah, so the idea, in an ideal world of making this type of cake, we would have made the icing, right? And it's starting to thicken. It was very thin. I don't know if you can see, but it was very, very thin. Now it thickens as it cools. And in an ideal world, if you were over there with Mrs. Kitchen, she would be sitting in the kitchen and she'd bring out a couple, 2 or 3 layers, turns them out, on a wire sheet, and then she puts them down and she starts frosting in between the layers while they're all warm. So as they do that, like it kind of absorbs some of that chocolate. And then she lets it sit for a little bit more and then frosts the rest of the cake around it. But, so that's always a great, it's a great technique if you're right there and you can do it. Now, if you needed to do it, ahead of time and you wanted to do it later, you could make the layers ahead. It has a lot of butter in it, and so it's a pretty rich cake. It's not going to dry out. You just want to cover it well until maybe the next day, and then make your frosting, and then you can do the whole thing like that too. So it depends, what your kind of seals things in, They probably will find these in tombs around the thing. So anyway, just wanted to show you, like, this is one that, that we kind of finished off. But this you can kind of see the layers, how they're not much to them, it really isn't. Sometimes what people will do is, I've seen on a computer thing, they'll take some of the chocolate, do it like this, and then they'll take, while it's warm, and drip it down just to get, kind of like it looks like this fountain of chocolate that has come down around the side.